welcome to a new weekly Wednesday webinar. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful, happy Wednesday. From wherever you are connecting from, I'm speaking from the DMV area. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's hot outside. The kids are running to the pool. People are buying new things for the summer, whether it's like camping sets to go camping, or perhaps you're looking for a new vehicle. So we're gonna, go over a very, very interesting topic it's very relevant to nowadays. Cruise into summer, your guide to smart auto buying. I know when it comes to auto buying, you get a lot of disclosures, a lot of signatures from you, a lot of dates and information that you perhaps don't know about. So, and that's the reason why we're doing this topic. My name is Eddie Villanueva, the official MC for the weekly Wednesday webinars, and we're excited to be here with each one of you. And I see a lot of, I always like to go through the attendees, see I recognize some names. So I did recognize the very first name on the top of the list because it's in alphabetical order. So Miss Angie from the lending department, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support. I also see another person from the lending department. That is Ms. Russell, Dawn Russell. Thank you very much for joining us. She works with the home equity division of the lending department. So if you're interested of a home equity loan, Dawn is the person that you want to talk to. So thank you very much. Let me see if I see any other names. And while we do that, we just want to say once again, thank you very much for joining us. And as you see Kim Friedley's background, it's almost 4th of July. So happy 4th to everybody. We appreciate you for joining us. We know this is a busy week for a lot of people, traveling outside of your home state, maybe seeing family, getting together for fireworks, but we all celebrating our nation. So thank you. Also, I wanted to mention that you can use the chat to send your comments, to send your questions, but you can also use that Q&A feature. And Carrie, because you're wearing red and you are being very patriotic for America, what is the commitment for every single question?
That will stay until Christmas until we answer them all.
Woo! Until Christmas it's a little bit overwhelming, but hey, if we have to, we're gonna answer all questions between now and Christmas. But once again, thank you very much to each one of you for being here. And with that being said, it's 6:02. When it comes to the MC part, they only give me 2 minutes because if not, I'm gonna get carried away with the time. So I want to pass it on to our membership development officer, Milton Aguilar Bolanos, which is one of our, experts in the panelist team. He has a lot of knowledge. I think he was saying earlier in the meeting, over 17 or 18 years of financial experience. I don't know, if I got that number wrong, but Milton, please take us away with the introductions.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva, and again, welcome everyone. We are so happy and excited to welcome you to another exciting webinar, as Eddie alluded to. Today's topic, it really is in line with what's happening right now. We know that it's the summer. We know this is actually, I was looking at the reports. They were saying the number of people that are expected to hit the road this weekend, being 4th of July weekend, is going to break records. And I don't blame them. But before you hit the road, you want to make sure that you have an actual nice car, because you don't want to get stranded, especially with traffic and everything. So if that's you, and that's the reason why you decided to join us, we want to thank you for that. With that being said, and kind of what Carrie was saying too, is she made a great point on a specific item, which is Christmas. Can you all believe? This is the first webinar of July. That means that we are down to the second part of the year, and the holiday season will be here by the time you know it. So brace yourself. That's all I wanted to say. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's celebrate 4th of July first, and then we'll get to the other holidays as they come to us. With that, we'll go ahead and introduce the panel. You already heard his voice, the official MC of the credit union, Mr. Eddie Villanueva from the marketing department. Assisting Eddie today with reading the questions and comments is going to be my right hand, Ms. Kim Friedley from the membership development team. She is our membership development analyst. She's going to be keeping track of the Q&As and also any questions that we get on the chat. So we definitely encourage you to be proactive. engage with us. If there's any questions, any concerns, or anything that you want to ask, please do so either the chat or the Q&A. We would love to read your questions, and we will try to have an answer for you. And if we don't, we'll try to get it to you by tomorrow. That's always our commitment. And also from the marketing, and the person actually in charge of putting all these beautiful graphics for us is Carrie Lazar. Thank you so much, Miss Carrie. And the person that will be leading the presentation today, it's none other than another familiar face. I'm not saying that he's new to the team, because you have seen him many times here on different webinars, and that is none other than Mr. Elton Roshi, who is the Director of Consumer Lending, who's going to be leading this presentation. So, Elton, for the second time today, sir, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a very informative session, and we're going to show you some tips and tricks of when you're doing your car buying process, especially when you're going to the dealership. And hopefully this will be helpful in the hopes that you feel more confident and prepared when you're purchasing your next vehicle. Whether that vehicle is new or used or new to you, knowing what the price of vehicles is now, a used vehicle is just as expensive as a new one. Okay, so today's agenda, we just want to go over the smart car shopping tips, how to plan for a budget, the financial do's and don'ts. We're going to look at several real purchase orders that I have obtained, and then we're going to look at the financial calculators so we could help you be more informed consumers. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the USSFC financing and the tools available to you. Okay. The smart shopping tips, this lays the foundation here, because it encouraging you to do your homework ahead of time. Knowing pricing and features gives you the leverage when it's time to negotiate. You never want to go to, you never go to or you should not go to the grocery store hungry, because then you end up buying a full cart versus a couple items. You should never go unprepared to the car dealership, because you would be their feast for that evening if you are not prepared. All right. Budgeting for a vehicle, helping understand the full cost of ownership, not just the monthly loan amount, but also including all of the recurring and upfront costs. Those things that sometimes we don't take into account when we're looking at a price of a vehicle can be the taxes, insurance, maintenance. I can tell you, depending on the state that you live in, you could have a very low sales tax on the vehicle, or you could have a vehicle sales tax up to 9%. So those are the things to take into consideration. Insurance is another big one. With the cost and the rise of insurance that has been happening in the last several years, that's something to consider. Insurance costs have been increasing at a clip of 10 to 20% per annum. Is that something that you can afford? Meaning, you should shop when you're shopping around. Don't hesitate to call your insurance agent, or you could go to the app to see it for that particular vehicle, what your cost is going to be. Most insurance companies will give you a semi-annual cost, but you want to know what the yearly cost is, so that you can see, okay, what is this going to cost me on a monthly basis, so you could factor that into the payment. Maintenance, are you going to be purchasing a maintenance plan, or are you going to be self-funding these? You want to make sure that you take those into consideration. The maintenance cost could be oil changes. Depending on the vehicle that you're purchasing, the oil changes, I have a Toyota Avalon, which is I have a 9-year-old car now, and I do full synthetic oil changes in mine. If you do a full synthetic oil change, depending where you go, it can range between $75 to $100 just for a regular car. If you have a Mercedes Benz or a BMW, you can easily have a oil change that is two, three, $400 depending on the vehicle and what type of oil change you're doing. So take those into consideration. Tires. The cost of tires has also been increasing dramatically. So that's something to take into account. Does the vehicle, if the vehicle you're looking at is used, is that going, is it going to need new tires, or do they have new tires, or what is the tread life on those tires? So those things to take into account. And then leave room for unexpected expenses. It's a car, anything can happen. It may run great when you leave the dealership, but the alternator could go out. And an alternator is $1,000 if it's not covered under a warranty, or if you don't have warranty protection, as an example. So those types of things you want to take into consideration. And then also, being realistic about your finances. It's about not chasing the Joneses. Being able to say, okay, I'm only comfortable with X dollar amount payment, even though I would love to have X vehicle, but it's that saying that, we have a champagne taste, but a box wine budget. You want to be more realistic and say, you know what, if I can only afford box wine, then that's what is going to be. The goal of a vehicle is to take you from point A to point B safely. And most of the times we're using our vehicles to go to work or to see family. So as long as it's a safe vehicle, it doesn't have to be anything um, of flashy. And then the financing one-on-one. Why you know why having a pre-approval is so important. Pre-approvals allow you to shop confidently and comfortably, because you know that you have been pre-approved for a set amount, and it's important also that you stay in that budget. If you have to go 1,000 or 2,000 over, that's fine, but making sure that when you're going to the dealership and you're test driving the vehicles, or you're shopping online for vehicles, making sure that you stay within that budget. And then we'll go over some calculations, so I can show you how to account for additional and an added amount to your loan pre-approval if you want to go above, so you can estimate your own payment, what that would look like as well. And then it's important that you compare loan terms and interest rates. We are in a world that technology is available at our fingertips, literally. And as an informed consumer, you should do your homework. Even though I work in the financial services field, I still do my shopping around when it comes to when I'm ready to make a purchase. I've told the story before in previous webinars. It took me 1 year to find a vehicle that I wanted to purchase. One, I was not in a hurry, but two, I'm also very picky and selective. So I wanted to find the right vehicle that I'm going to drive until it doesn't want to drive itself anymore. So those are the things to take into consideration. And then when it comes to the best rates, shopping for the best rates, here at USN, and I was fortunate. We do offer competitive rates, so that was a plus for me. Also, credit scores matter, and I want to be very clear with this, for the simple fact that as consumers, we're misguided on what a credit score does and how it operates. A credit score only determines what your interest rate is going to be for the loan that you're seeking. And credit score does not determine whether you will get that loan or not. I think we're misguided on that because there's this false fallacy that having an 800 credit score should afford you every single loan available, in the world. That's untrue for the simple fact that there's qualifications that happen. You may receive the best rate, but it does not mean that you will receive the loan amount that you're asking. For example, if you want to purchase $100,000 vehicle, well, but your budget in terms of what your income you're getting can only afford you a $50,000 vehicle, then that loan would be adjusted commensurately to match what you can afford. So credit scores do not give you the buying power that you think. They only give you the lowest interest rate or the most competitive interest rates. And then it's important that when you're shopping around, making sure that you're looking at credit union loans versus a finance companies like the manufacturers of financing ours. We call those captives or banks. Being able to shop around to say, okay, what are the fees that this cooperative is charging versus the bank or versus the captive finance company. So you want to look at those. And ultimately, when it comes to the credit union cooperative, the credit union bar none has the lowest fees available, and more often than not, better service. Okay. And then we're going to go into the live demo session where I'm going to show you several purchase orders and what to look for, and what some of those line items may mean for you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can pull in the purchase orders. Okay. So we are looking at the first purchase order, and I have masked some of this information because it's not pertinent to we protect our borrowers' privacy. So I just wanted to show you some purchase orders with different types of vehicles, and the first one is a 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a brand new vehicle. So in this purchase order, you want to look at certain factors. So you want to make sure that the vehicle, if it's a brand new vehicle, the dealership has marked it as new instead of a demo or used, because that does matter when that financial institution receives your purchase order. If they see it as used or demo, that means you may qualify for different rates, which may be higher if it's not a new vehicle. Okay? And then if you're trading in a vehicle, you want to make sure your trading information is listed. The vehicle that's being traded in, and then the current mileage, and then you want to, if you owe a balance, it's going to show what your balance is. And then if the dealership is giving you a trade-in, then you're going to see what that trade-in allowance is. In this particular case, this borrower owed more on it than the allowance. So it's going to translate into here. And then the cash price of the vehicle. This is going to be what you negotiated the vehicle. Oftentimes, what we here, and then I've experienced it myself too, is the dealership tries to give you the out the door price, but the out the door price may have things that you have not even been discussed with or considered. So you want to make sure you get a breakdown. And oftentimes they do that internal rate. It's like an internal document where you could look at uh, what the final price they're offering you and all the other options. But as a consumer, you're signing this document. This is a contract. So it is your responsibility to make sure that you are signing and agreeing and understanding to what you're signing, because you can go back and say, I did not know something was there when you're agreeing that it was there when you're signing. So review the cash price, and then if they have any loyalty discounts, they'll add those there. And then here is the trade allowance. So that's taken from here. So it's subtracting so it's giving you the trade allowance, and then they're adding the trade payoff. So this makes the subtotal of this vehicle from 35, almost 36,000 to 47,000. And then they're adding the sales tax, the dealer's inventory tax, and then service contracts. You want to make sure this is something that you wanted. Uh, this is a brand new vehicle. So oftentimes it has a manufacturer's warranty and it has a powertrain warranty. So if you're adding service contracts, make sure you understand what those are, and they're going to be beneficial to you. The documentary fee, this is $225. This is actually one of the lowest documentary fees that I have seen. I'll show you another one, and you may get surprised, or maybe you've seen those as high if you purchased vehicles in the past. And then if they're adding anything else, in this case, it shows that they're adding gap protection for $575. But as I looked at this document further, it's not gap. It's something else, but they classified it as a gap. So that's why, as a consumer, you want to make sure you understand that what's listed is what you agree to. And then after rebates and everything, the amount financed is $50,379. So the vehicle value for this 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe was actually $37,140. And then if we take the amount financed, that's your top number, and then the vehicle value is your bottom number, then it'll give you a loan to value of 135.648. This is a high loan to value, and then ultimately, especially if they're purchasing a brand new vehicle, as soon as they drive off the lot, it's gonna depreciate even more quickly. So this 135 is going to jump even more, and then depending on the loan term that you select, then that could slow down the repayment while the depreciation is increasing. So you want to factor those in. Okay. So a second example that I have here is a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee. The purchase price is $42,873. This particular one, they added aftermarket items to their Jeep, so that's almost $2,000. And then they also added Auto Armor ECP Plus, so that's like a protection that was added. Okay? And then here's a processing fee, $949. Then they're adding the title tax, and then the dealer licensing fees, and then that brings the total to $47,850.26. One thing that I want to give you more information as a consumer: this processing fee, this is not a state mandate. This is not required by law. So this is negotiable. If you really want the vehicle and they want to sell it to you because they need to clear inventory, you can negotiate this because this is how the dealership had their profits even more. Uh, because as consumers, we don't even flinch. This used to be in the low 200s at one point, but it just keeps increasing over and over again. And there's no law that says it's required, so it's negotiable at that point. And then in this particular case, the borrower is making a down payment, and then they ended up purchasing an extended warranty. So you can look at the extended warranty here is 5,140. And then on extended warranties, you are charged a tax. So that's why they have to separate that tax amount. So it brings your warranty total to $5,294. And the balance due on delivery or the amount that's being financed is 45,644.46. And then the vehicle value is $43,420. And then that makes the loan to value at 105%, 0.592. So this is more like in line with what you should be seeing. If they didn't purchase that extended warranty, then the loan to value would have been lower for sure. Another example is a 2025 Lexus RX 350, my dream car. I didn't purchase this, my dream car though. The cash price is almost 55,000. They've added an environmental fee of $699. There's a service contract of $36.85. Remember, it's a 2025 vehicle, so they're adding a service contract. That could be paint protection, that could be tire and wheel, it could be anything. I don't have that information, unfortunately. The doc fee is $799. You'll see if there's any trade-ins. It shows the trade-ins here and then what the trade-in allowance is. And then the total due is 61,860.57. Now, this person had a trade-in, so their trade-in was 34,000. So the amount they really needed to finance was 27,860.57. You pay sales tax on your purchase price. You don't pay sales tax on what you're financing or if you're putting a cash down payment or you have a trade-in. So this sales tax refers to what your cash price is. And then in this particular scenario, the vehicle value was 63,220, and then the loan to value was 39.544%. So this is actually someone who just borrowed under 40% of their vehicle value, and it's an easy doable transaction. This is a 2023 Kia Sorento PHEV, so it's a hybrid. Yeah, it's a hybrid, and this one is it's a used vehicle. Sometimes the purchase orders will say market as used, but it's not marked as used. But it's a 2023, so that here it is, right here. I'm sorry. The vehicle is marked here as used. And then it's a purchase transaction. It's not a lease, so you want to make sure you verifying you're purchasing or you're leasing the transaction. And cash price of $40,989. A service contract, processing fee, the total tax, and then the out the door is $48,280.55. So you could see that how it went from $41,000 to $48,000. So $7,000 more than what the purchase price of the vehicle was. And those are the things I spoke in my earlier slide to take into account to consider as well. And then the last example I wanted to show is a 2022 Tesla Model Y. It's a very popular EV right now. And this particular case, the dealer processing charge was the $199, and then they added extended warranty on here, plus all their sales taxes, and then and then they also had a trade-in here. Their trade-in credit was 21,000. They owed $34,000 on it. Okay. So that, and then even with the down payment, their loan ended up being $40,131 because of that and negative trade. So you could see from 33,000 to 40,000 with a $10,000 down payment. So this vehicle actually cost them $50,000. So that's $18,000 more, almost $18,000 more than what the actual cash price of this vehicle was. So those are the type of example like we want to show you. You want to be on the lookout for. This is actually a very low processing fee. But again, look at because I've seen dealerships sneak in things and where the consumer has no idea that they're doing it. So those are the things to take into consideration. To make some easy calculations, on our website, under the resources page is the financial calculators, and then it will bring you here to the financial calculators section, and then you could do the auto loan calculators. They'll give you how much you're comfortable with paying. And then it'll give you some guidance on that. But we're going to simply just use the loan calculator here. And then we're just gonna plug in a few numbers, and then I already had plugged in a few of these numbers. How you're gonna, for example, if you're purchasing a vehicle for $27,860, and let's make the interest rate assumed to be 4.99. How long is the loan term in years? Let's say 5 years. It's going to give you a payment calculation estimate of $525.64. Okay. If you're, and then it tells you what the total interest paid would be. If you come across a financial calculator and it does not give you what the total interest paid is, you can simply just do 525.64 times 60 payments, because 5 years is 60 months. And then that will give you what the total paid is. And then you can just subtract the 31,538.14 from the 27,860.57, and that'll give you the interest paid. So that's like an easy way to do those calculations, as opposed to having to call somebody or try to figure it out. Once you get your estimated payment, then that estimated payment factors in the interest paid based on the 4.90 over 5 years, and then that will give you what your total interest would be as well. Also, say that you wanted to increase your loan amount by $1,000 as an example. So we'll increase this to $20,000. You can see how this changed your payment from $525 to $544. Okay. So this is $19 that your payment increased for $1,000. So for every $1,000 on top of this, you're going to estimate $19 additional. So if you go from 27,000 to 30,000, it's gonna increase at $19 times 3. So your new payment is going to be $525 plus 19 times that 3. So that's how you can estimate, and then that can range depending on if you're going to finance it for a longer term or a shorter term. The shorter term that you finance it for, it's going to calculate higher because you have a lower repayment window. If you finance it for a longer term, then that payment per thousand is going to be less. So that's something to take into account. So it could range between if you did this for 72 months or 6 years, that would be about $16.34 versus if you did it for 48 months, it's gonna be around 22.91 per thousand. So you can see that it's gonna be about a $6 and 50 some cents difference between the shorter term and the longer term. So that's how you can calculate like what is my payment going to be if I increase it from what I'm pre-approved. So a safe bet would be in that $16 to $23 range, depending on what your loan term is. And then also, if your rate is higher, then that could also go up a few more dollars, especially if you have a higher rate. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to go back to the presentation. Oh. Okay. All right. So we went over these examples for you. All right. So now and then we also went over the auto loan calculator. So I showed that, and then if there's any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to answer those. Okay. So financing with USSFCUY, that is like a very doable option. It should be the best option for you because we offer low fixed rate and competitive rates for both our new and used vehicles. We lowered our auto loan rates for both new and used so that we can continue to be competitive for our members. We have flexible terms up to 84 months. You can finance up to 110% front end, meaning the out-the-door price. And then if you add gap or warranty with US Senate, then we have an allowance for the back end portion of that as well. And then we have the convenient pre-approval process. And right now, we are offering free gap protection. The cost is normally $4.99, and it's free. There's no trick. There's no hack. This is something like as a credit union, we can do for our members because we are member owned, and our goal is to give you the best value and protections. So currently, it's free as long as you finance a vehicle. Well, whether you finance a vehicle, meaning you're purchasing one or you're refinancing one that you currently have elsewhere. And we also have 0 refinance fees. Most financial institutions will charge you the titling fees to bring over a vehicle loan. We don't charge those. We take care of those for you on your behalf. And the current gap promotion is through July 31st. So we only have until the end of the month to take advantage of that. Okay. And then, going further, what does GAP do? GAP protects your loan. It protects you from what the insurance company doesn't pay. The insurance company will pay what is called actual cash value, not your retail value of the vehicle, the actual cash value or ACV. That differs from the retail value, and it's less. So if you have a $26,000 balance, and then the cash value is 20,620, and you have about 5,300 almost in gap. If you do not have gap protection on your loan, then that 5,300 you would be responsible for. Whereas gap, if you had gap, then gap would pay it off. And then the plus feature with our gap protection, the next vehicle that you purchase and finance with US Senate within 120 days, we will give you $1,000 credit towards your current balance and apply that as a principal reduction. And then also our gap comes with auto deductible reimbursement. So it covers for non-total loss events. So if you have a fender bender and you go and fix it, the deductible that you have up to $500, you can get reimbursed each time you have a claim, unlimited for the first 3 years. And that covers other insured products as well. Excuse me, other insured vehicles that you have that are not financed at USN. The debt shield. The debt shield protects the loan and it protects you as the consumer. The debt shield is our debt protection. It can cancel your loan in the event of death. It can reduce your payments in the event of disability and involuntary unemployment. Disability will affect 1 in 2 consumers in their lifetime, and it does not discriminate on age. We have seen borrowers who have taken advantage of this, and they thought they would never get sick, and they end up being ill or hurt. Disability doesn't mean that you get hurt on the job. You could get hurt walking. I give it a perfect example. I was with my wife. We were doing our taxes and we had parked our vehicle and we were walking back. And the streets of New York are just notorious for potholes. Her leg fell into a pothole in the parking lot. She didn't realize it, and she got hurt really, really bad. So those types of events, and if you have to be out of work, the most that your disability coverage through your employer will cover is 60 to 66% of your salary. Then remove deductions, then remove taxes from that. How are you going to make your car payment, your credit card payment, your personal loan payments if you with a reduction in income? So debt shield is an income protection. So think about it in that sense. Also, how many we thought the federal government jobs were 100% safe. What have we been seeing in the last several months to 6 months? Layoffs in the federal government. So those that we never thought would happen is happening. No industry is safe from layoffs. No industry is immune to ebbs and flows of the macroeconomic cycles that have happened. COVID should have taught us that when everything shut down, and it took, and then we slowly came back online. No industry was safe, from that. Mechanical repair coverage protects your vehicle in the event that you have unexpected repairs that you didn't anticipate or plan. That covers the vehicle. So that's something that we offer, and that's something that you should definitely look into. These are all optional, by the way. These are not required to have a loan at U.S. Senate, but it is our job. It is our duty as stewards of your membership to be able to offer these products and services to provide you that peace of mind when the unexpected may happen. The car buying service. We offer a true car buying service. This is a great tool that you can see if you can get a discount on a new vehicle. This is like new pre-negotiated rates, and then you can browse the inventory. You could compare prices. You can even estimate your trade-in value. And then once you find the right vehicle, then you can go to that specific dealership. So if you put in your zip code, it will give you a listing of participating dealers that may have that particular vehicle you're shopping for. And it's a great service because it's already pre-negotiated rate. Okay, and that is all that I have to present to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. And I want to open the floor to questions, and then also make sure that when you are ready to purchase your next vehicle, please don't hesitate to reach us at 800-374-2758, option 4 for loans. Or you could do that online at my.ussfc.org through online banking, or ussfc.org/auto. There is a link also there to apply and get pre-approved and pre-qualified for a loan.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elton. That was amazing. I mean, I'm sure that more than one person is walking away with a lot of a lot of great information that you provide. A lot of the insights, especially for those that might be new in the car buying market. We want to make sure that we provide you with the right tools so that you don't fall I don't like to use the word victim, but it almost feels like you become a victim oftentimes by dealers that take advantage, especially if they sense that you haven't, this might be your first rodeo, or you're not an expert at the process. So again, Elton, as always, we appreciate all of your knowledge, all of your insights. That was wonderful, showing those real life examples. Really, really make a big and huge difference for everyone that was in this call. So appreciate you. With that being said, we want to be mindful of everyone's time. Kim and Eddie, I believe there's a couple of questions there in the chat and in the Q&A. If you guys want to take it away.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Elton. I've been in this business for almost 30 years, and every time you present, I learn something new that I can take away personally. So again, excellent presentation, and thank you. So excellent questions in the chat. The first question is, does it ever make sense to pay cash for a new vehicle instead of getting financing? Or can financing be an asset or have a positive impact?
That is a great question. And I always give the advice that I give myself. And if you can pay cash for a transaction, paying cash. Financing is available for you in the event that you don't want to use your cash or tie up your cash for a vehicle. So think about a vehicle as a depreciating asset. It's really not even an asset because it's an expense. Ultimately, it goes down in value. An asset normally would increase in value, but it depreciates. The maintenance, the upkeep on it too. So I don't see anything wrong with paying for a vehicle in cash, or if you want to pay half in cash or half finance, you could do that as well. It ultimately depends on what it is you're looking for in terms of your budget. Are you trying to improve your credit, or are you trying to build credit? Those are some of the times when I would recommend that you finance something if you're trying to keep open trade lines so your credit score does not go down to zero if you have everything that has been paid off.
Elton, if you don't mind, if I may add to your answer, one thing that I would also would like to add, and that is I have family that works in the dealership industry, and there in some cases, not always, but in some cases, you might get a better deal if you finance rather than paying cash. So just wait your options and see if you have the cash available, but they're willing to give you a better offer because you're going to finance the car loan. Perhaps you can explore that and pay off the car as soon as you get your first
You could
statement
do that. Mhm.
or whatever that situation might be. But just like I said, it's always good to explore and then kind of like inquire. What would be what will the difference be? I'm sorry, if I was to pay it off in cash, or would it make more sense for me to finance and you guys give me rebates or just extra perks that you might get by doing the finance? So just something to think about as well, too. But that's an excellent question. I'm sorry I jumped in.
I hope you guys don't mind if I jump in as well. It immediately came to my mind that we also do share secured loans. So if you have money that you want to put into a certificate of deposit, we will lend. You can take out a loan on your own money, 80% of that certificate of deposit, and the rate would be 2% above whatever the CD rate is, and you still earn interest on your CD. We only take it out to the maturity date on the CD. So at the end, you would have paid for your auto and still have your savings account intact plus interest. So just a thought there as well. So the next question is, are the loan calculators available on the USS FCU app?
They are not currently available
Yeah.
through the app, but they are mobile responsive. So not in the app currently, but if you go to the link that I put in the chat on your phone, they'll adjust to the screen size of your phone and you can navigate them easily. And then I'm also going to throw another link in the chat to our Best Life Wellness platform. So there's some tools related to auto buying or calculators, paying it off early, all that stuff in there too that might be worth exploring. So there's that too. But sorry, not now. They are not currently available in the app.
Thank you so much, Carrie. This person also asked, what is GAAP? And I think you may have addressed that right after the question was asked. But if you want to just let them know what GAAP
Yes.
stands for.
Mhm. Yeah. So GAP stands for Guaranteed Asset Protection. So it covers it protects the loan in the event there is a total loss. And it would pay the difference that remains after insurance payoff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, great questions. I just want to make sure, Elton, that you hear what our attendees are saying. Great presentation, great information, great info. Live
Thank
car invoice portion was so helpful. Next question is, how much in advance should you apply for a pre-approval loan?
That is a great question. Our pre-approvals are good for 60 days. So if you're in the market to purchase the vehicle in the next 60 days, then we encourage you to apply ahead of time so that you have enough time to shop. But if your horizon is in the next 6 months, then I would wait until 60 days before you're going to be making that vehicle purchase. For the simple fact that once we pull credit and then you decide that you don't want to proceed, but then you come back again the next month, then we have to pull credit again. So we want to reduce the inquiries that you would have on your credit report if we can, because anytime you do a credit report pull, it does negatively impact your credit score, and that could be between 10 points to 30 points. I've seen it. So you do want to be mindful when it comes to that. And then inquiries, staying on your credit report for 2 years.
Thank you so much. Great question, great answer. Someone said, great presentation. I missed the first half. will a recording be sent out to the attendees? And I believe I can answer this. So tomorrow you will get an email of the slide presentation. We have recorded the webinar. We may have to go in and do a little bit of editing, and more than likely the recording will be out on our website under Best Life under recorded webinars, probably end of next week, maybe a little earlier, since there is a holiday.
I'll try to get it up there as soon as possible. And I'll note the people who
Thank you.
specifically asked for it, and I'll shoot them the email, a link to it when it's ready, so you don't have to dig through the site to find it. But if anyone out there uses YouTube, we post them all on YouTube. If you could like our page, right? That's page, right, Eddie? Channel.
Like and subscribe.
I can subscribe,
Love it.
exactly.
Oh,
Love
like
it.
our page, subscribe to our channel.
Thank you
And turn
so
on that
much,
notifications
Terry.
bell.
Again, great question. Another comment, great info. Thank you so much. Another question, will there be a link for anyone that missed the webinar? We just answered that question. And another thank you. So I do not see, oh, let me check. I think we might have one more question. Another question, will there be a link to watch the webinar if anyone that missed it? And we answered that question. So again, thank you so much, Elton. This was amazing. And thank you so much to our valued members who took time out of their evening to join us. We appreciate you.
So I
Thank
do
you,
have
everybody.
I do have an anonymous question, and somebody's very, very curious. And they're just curious about, since we're talking about vehicles and purchasing vehicles, so they're asking if you all can share what's your dream vehicle. So Elton, Carrie, Milton, and Kim, if you had a chance, money was not an issue, and you can get any vehicle right now, what vehicle would that be? So we're gonna start with the ladies. Kim, what's your dream vehicle?
Oh, I have my dream vehicle. And this weekend, as we were on Route 66 from 495 to 66, we passed it. And it was candy apple red. I think it was of the new Corvette. It was candy apple red with a little bit of black trim. Oh my goodness. I wanted that. And then we passed another one that was yellow, my favorite color. So I guess I would say the new Corvette.
All right. I think that's a sign. You passed two of them. So, that's a sign that you might have to, do some type of, financing or buying whatever
I'm
it is.
pretty sure, Eddie, that Elton said we should not try to stay up with the Joneses.
I agree with you 100%.
I can't afford it, but it's wonderful to dream.
Terry, what's your dream vehicle? I seen you driving from, I think back in the days you had a Honda, remember? Now you have VW. So what would be next in, if money was no issue?
Range Rover.
Mm.
All right. I like that. What
Nice. I
color?
like those.
Thank you for
Nice.
asking.
Of course, of course.
You'll also like the repairs that come with it.
Yes. Mr.
They
Elton,
will leave you stranded.
Mr. Elton, you see all type of financing vehicles, our members reaching their dreams, and perhaps once they retire, they're like, you know what, I might get that new Corvette, maybe that new Range Rover. So what's on Elton's radar? Like, what would be like a dream car for you?
I don't particularly have a dream car, but I would love to go back to having a Lexus. I used to have one for the longest time, and then I couldn't find one during COVID, so I settled for Toyota Avalon, which is the cousin to the
Yes.
Lexus. So I would love to go back to a Lexus, and I think I shared in the presentation my dream car, the RX 350. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be new; it could be used. It's gentle on the miles, but I'm very practical. I'm not really.
So if any of our attendees, you have an extra dream car for Elton, like the model that he mentioned, he doesn't ask for much. It can be used. Low mileage, it's okay. High mileage is okay as well. So
No, low mileage.
low mileage. All right. And then Milton, what will be your dream car, sir? I know you got a very nice taste in your cars. I know they're all tinted out. So what would be in Milton's bucket list?
Oh boy, I'm going to take a little bit of a backward step, if you will. But my dream car is definitely a 1986 Toyota Celica, a two-door transmission.
Yeah.
That's classic.
I would love to have something like that. So, what about you, Eddie? You asked the question. We gotta flip it back to you.
See, no, you got me thinking now because I was gonna go new, but now you're talking about classics. But I saw this movie the other day. I'm not gonna market the movie because we don't market movies, but I saw this nice. I think it's what is it called? A Porsche Taycan. I think is that electric
Mm,
new Porsche. I don't
mm.
like electric cars, honestly, personally. I mean, to each its own. But it's one of those things that thing looks so beautiful. And it's like four doors. I love four-door cars, and it looks so spacious and sporty, and it just caught my attention. So I think it will be the Porch take on for me. But
We can, you can borrow that, Eddie.
nah, I'm
I can
okay.
get
I'm
you
okay.
pre-approved.
I don't need the repairs. I do not need the repairs. One thing that I wanted to be mindful with, our attendees, I know we passed a little bit over time, but I just wanted to mention that, when you take care of your car, and I know Elton mentioned this earlier, when you take care of your car, it takes care of you as well. So when you do GAP, when you do the MRC, all those benefits that we're talking about, make sure you take advantage of them because you don't want to be, with those big expenses. We've hoped that nothing happens to your car and that you have a smooth ride, no pun intended, with your loan. But it's one of those things that we want to make sure that you are prepared for, anything that can happen. So make sure you take advantage of our products and services. As Elton was saying, 800-374-2758, option 4, if I'm not mistaken. So, you can
Yes.
talk to Elton, his team, and they're ready to, answer all of the questions that you may have. With that being said, Milton, with the closing remarks.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you, Sarah. And before we let everyone go, just as always, and actually one of the reasons what the reason why I say the car that I say is because it had a reasoning behind it, and that is that as I get older, I want to be able to just enjoy my retirement and have a car that is low maintenance. And it's in line with what we're going to talk about next week, which is retire smarter. Strategies for a worry-free future. Maybe have an old car, so you're not worrying about paying too much for car repairs. That could be an option. But definitely would like to invite you to join us next Wednesday. We're going to have our financial advisor Michael Schimmel, who will be leading the presentation. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Right, Eddie, Carrie? Because normally Michael presents at 3 p.m., but this time we have him at 6, right?
Yes.
Awesome. I got the confirmation. But again, as always, I just want to thank the panelists, the panel team. You guys are amazing, and obviously the star of the night, Mr. Elton Roshi. We appreciate all
Thank
your
you,
insight,
everybody.
experience, sir. And just thank you all. Have a happy 4th of July weekend. We'll see you all back again next week.